Hello, hello, hello. I have to wait and see if the sound is good. Yep. Okay. The sound is good. Okay. All right. So, as I will be starting with all of my videos now. Hey, Phoenix, how you doing? 5 of my former colleagues were abducted off the streets of the U.S. They were victims advocates. I received a message today. Hold on one sec. All right. I received a message today that one of those 5 colleagues was found. Her remains were found. So I'm kind of out of it a little bit. So if my energy is off or what have you, that's why. And I apologize ahead of time. Since the whole Charlie Kirk was murdered thing happened, I, not now nor ever will I, yes, it's pretty, it's been a weird day for me. I will not now, nor will I ever be compassionate to white supremacists, especially those white supremacists who go out of their way to campaign for hate against marginalized groups for decades, okay? Since I've been talking about that publicly and the fact that I'm not going to be empathetic to someone like him, I've had conservatives coming on my content, bitching, moaning, and whining like a bunch of titty babies. Okay. It's like they feel like they need a nook and I don't have one for them. It's almost like they're trying to change my mind. Here's the thing. When you deconstruct from all of the programming that is put into your brain from birth pertaining to racism and all of that, you go through many levels of coming to understand so many things. And one of those things is rug sweeping. I will not rug sweep for white supremacists. I don't care who they are. I don't care if you think they were a national treasure. They were a white supremacist, and that's that. Now, in the last live stream, I was talking about how women are human beings. There's no such thing as a minor woman or an underaged woman. That's a little girl. And someone decided to comment. So I'm going to share this comment with y'all. Hold on one second. I have to find the correct. Wait, I had it. Where did it go? Hi, hello, come back. Okay. Nope, that's not it. That's it. Okay. Yeah, no rug sweeping of white supremacy under the rug. Yeah, no, there's. Okay, can you read that? I'm not sure how I can make it bigger. Let me see. Nope, that's not it. Okay, wait. Give me a sec. Oh, you were able to read? Okay. Well, for those of my followers or subscribers who cannot read that way, I'll read this out loud. And I tagged them in the chat so that they can come here, because I don't want to do this without them being able to come in and speak for themselves. All right, so you stated conservatism always seems to lead back to the idea that women are not human. I beg to differ. Conserving the ideas of American founding principles include Christian views of women which lift women up. Call them equal value to men. Really? Where? Jesus demonstrated this in speaking with a Samaritan woman, welcoming women among his followers, condemning divorce at a man's whim, etc. Paul issued this rhetoric. So in Messiah, Jesus, you are all children of God through faith. For all of you were baptized into Messiah, have clothed yourselves with Messiah. There is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male or female, for you are all one in Messiah, Jesus. Not at all meaning there was no distinction in the physical, but in the spiritual, all have the same value and standing. I think part of the problem comes when motherhood is belittled by feminists and nurturing and training children is despised, devalued. When the natural way of women is being more emotional and nurturing is rejected, and the goal becomes to make men and women the same. Whatever happened to the huge acceptance of women are from Venus, men are from Mars? As a conservative woman, my experience has been that men not only see women as human, obviously, but honor them, admire them, appreciate them, recognize them, and recognize the perfect complementary nature of humans and all species on Earth, male and female, absolutely interdependent. We are not exactly the same biologically, socially, the way our brains are wired on the whole, so we need to do the same thing. So we need not do all the same things, but we surely are of equal value, and most definitely human. I don't often make a video in response to someone's comment here on the tubes, but here we are. Today was not the day for me to see that message. Okay? It just wasn't. Because today I found out that one of my former colleagues, who was disappeared off the streets of an American city, her remains were found. She's a victim's advocate. Five of my former colleagues went missing in a metropolitan city in the US. And a large part of the reason that happened is because of this administration that is pushing Christian, extremist, fundamentalist, so-called values. That's why this happened. And if you don't like me saying that, you can get fucked. Because one of them was found, her remains. Grow the fuck up. Conservative men do not treat women with respect. That is historical fact. And I don't even have to talk about America. I can talk about multiple different countries that fell to conservatism and what happened to women. I can prove every bit of what I'm saying. Conservative men don't want women to be equal. They want to be above men. Conservative men want women to be subservient and submissive. Exactly. Keep sweet and smile, right? Subjugate yourself to your man. Submit to your man. That's what conservative men say. Submit. You shouldn't have a job. You should be a breeding mare or brood mare. You should be a helpmate. You should take care of the house. You should clean. You should do all of the labor, take care of all of the things. And if he beats the shit out of you, Pray for God to help you, right? If he's R'ing you, well, it's your duty to give him smacks whenever you want, even if it's the day after you gave birth to a baby. I can't even tell you how many clients I've had who escaped out of conservative DV situationships. I don't even know. And then on top of that, all of the women when I was in the sheriff's department that I saw who were in conservative situationships where the only one I ever cuffed was a dude who punched his wife in the face with a whole bunch of cops standing right there. And I was like, I'm cuffing that guy right there. I'm doing that. If you don't like it, fuck off. That's conservatism. Conservatism equals women are subjugated and abused. That's what happens. If you don't like me saying that, then don't fucking do that. Okay? Because my girlfriend, my colleague, my former colleague who was murdered, her remains were found. I've never heard of this many victims advocates going missing like this. I don't think I've ever heard of a victims advocate going missing like this. There's nothing about it in the news. Having grown up under a conservative man of whom I have no fond memories of, I can tell you that conservatism is harmful. Yes, it hurts everyone. It hurts men. It hurts women. It hurts children. It hurts elderly people, handicapped people, and let's not forget LGBTQ people. What other type of, I guess, what would you even call conservatism? Like, the liberal community doesn't have conversion torture programs for LGBTQ plus people to reprogram their brains so they'll be straight. Or maybe we should start doing that to straight people. I mean, if it's on the table to torture someone into switching their sexuality, fuck it, maybe we should just do the same, right? I mean, same energy, right? If it's fine for us LGBTQ plus people, yes, I said us. If it's fine for us, then it should be fine for straight people, right? Also, I have another question. When did straight people choose to be straight? Because I didn't choose to be part of the LGBTQ plus community. I never chose that. It just is how I am. So make it make sense. But now we get to it, okay? Throughout human history, empires rise and empires fall. But there's one thing that I find very, very interesting, and that is everyone just automatically assumes that the U.S. was a Christian-founded country, and it was not. Okay, can you all see that? The Treaty of Tripoli. Get ready. I'm about to hurt you. And it's going to get worse and worse as we go along. If you're conservative, you're not going to like what I have to say. But suck it up, Buttercup, because facts don't care about your feelings. Facts are just facts. All right? The Treaty of Tripoli. Signed in 1796, it was the first treaty between the U.S. and Tripoli to secure commercial shipping rights and protect American ships in the Mediterranean Sea from local Barbary pirates. All right. The treaty, which established commercial rights and protected American shipping, but ultimately failed in the 1805 treaty, which ended in the First Barbary War after Captain secured and removed. Okay. But here is the part I want to talk about. Okay. The treaty is notable for Article 11, which stated that the U.S. government was not, in any sense, founded on the Christian religion, a phrase that has been used in later debates about Christian state or church state separation. Okay. Article 11 stated that the U.S. government was not founded on Christianity and had no enmity toward Muslims, ensuring that religious opinions would not disrupt harmony between the two nations. Okay. So that very clearly says right there that the U.S., in fact, was not founded to be a Christian nation. Just because the Puritans went over, because they had to flee Europe, because they were such douche canoes, that's what happened, by the way. There's fact and then there's fiction. And a myth was created around the Puritans leaving out of Europe and going to the New World. It's a myth that the Puritans left out to, flee from religious persecution. It wasn't persecution. They were assholes. Okay? Like, legit. There were problems with them. Okay. Now, here, right here. Oh, one sec. Okay. I don't know, it's weird. It's almost like a Google search can bring up all kinds of information. And it's not hard to find. Okay, so this says initial groups called Pilgrims, separatists who wanted a complete break from the Church of England, traveled first to the Netherlands in 1608 before sailing on the Mayflower in 1620 to Plymouth. They stopped at another place before Plymouth, it was before Plymouth. See, there's so much myth to the story of the Pilgrims that it's ridiculous, okay? They wanted to create a religiously focused society that they hoped would serve as an example to the world. Okay. See, here's the myth. They were trying to escape religious persecution from the English monarchy. This is myth, though, because when I talk with people here in Scotland about this subject, they're like, oh, they were nuts. Those people were crazy. So what I'm saying to you is America, as it was a new country, had to solidify and give a good reason for why the Europeans left Europe and went to the New World. Now, also, there's another thing you have to consider, is that a lot of the second and third sons of noble people didn't have any chance of inheriting much of anything. So you got this new land. They're not going to inherit any land back in Europe, so they leave out and they come over here. So it's kind of a twofer. It wasn't just pilgrims who first went over. It was second and third sons of aristocrats who also came over. Yep. Yeah. If you can find a link of an image of that, that'd be cool. As 13 virginal figures, yeah. And many of the founding fathers were atheists or agnostic or deists or Christian, but not puritanical Christian. And there's a difference, okay? Not evangelicals is what I'm saying. And they're quoted as saying many things that are not Christian, but Christians never want to talk about that because it doesn't serve their interests, right? Now, back then, women were under covenantal laws. Women were not allowed to get a bank account without a man co-signing, property, live without getting married. Women were expected to get married, have children, do all the housework, do all the labor, do all the things, period, point blank. If you didn't do that, you were a spinster who may or may not end up with roommates. But so far as getting a decent job and making a decent wage, good luck with that. In the US, many women had to resort to SW work to survive because they refused to marry men. Just saying. Actually, Frankie, you might have to send it to Maki's Discord because, or wait, is it, okay. Right. Let me see.
Just put it in the Discord server, in your server.
I got it, babe. Let me go over here. It's really, really beautiful. It's part of the reason I wanted to show it. Where is the Discord? How do I share the Discord screen on here?
On Streamlabs?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't mess with Streamlabs.
I'm seeing everything but what I'm looking for.
Application window.
Oh, okay.
Discord.
Okay. I learned a new thing. Okay. Can I make, give me 1 sec. Let me see if I can make this bigger. It's just, wow. So yeah, I don't know. And there's George right there, I do believe. Looking like Zeus. Thank you, Phoenix. I mean, wow, it's just really something. I'm sure there's some people out there who want to destroy that and make it into something it's not. Okay. All right. So this whole story of the pilgrims is actually a myth. They were basically chased out of Europe. And if you go down further on this search that I did, they talk about that. But we're going to move on to the reality currently in the US and worldwide, really. Christian churches are not safe for women, for children, for elderly people, people with handicaps of any kind or disabilities of any kind, and LGBTQ plus people and also people of color. It's just not. Look, it just goes on and on and on. Oh, here, Christianity and domestic violence. Christian teaching linked to domestic abuse, research finds. Inquiry report finds child SA in most major UK, and that goes on to say US churches. Child SA and religious organizations. Prevalence of child SA perpetrated by churches. That's what that's talking about. awareness of abuse in religious faith-based communities, gender and domestic victimization. It just goes on and on and on. Okay. And from there, one second. We go over to the Southern Baptist Convention predator list. This right here, this article right here. I also have it up here on a tab. I can show it to you. This article takes you to a list of, I think it was 250. Hold on one sec. Let me check. Oh, that's the wrong one. Yeah, 205. A 205 page database. Let me just switch over to that real quick, to this article. Where did the chat go? Okay, there it is. They fled from the UK to the Netherlands, and then they willingly left that region because their children were becoming too Dutch. That's what they say. That's part of the myth. They were actually, some of them left because of that reason, and then others were chased out because they were too Puritan. Okay, so the Southern Baptist Convention leaders released a previously secret list of accused SA abusers. In response to an explosive investigation, top Southern Baptists have released a previously secret list of hundreds of pastors and other affiliated personnel accused of SA. This is the first time I read it, I was shocked because in some of those cases, it was multiple perpetrators and one or more victims. So, church officials kept a private list of abusers. Does that sound like they're propping women up? They're propping children up? They're propping people up on equal footing? It doesn't sound like it to me. But instead of just showing you an article, I mean, we could just leave it there. But we're not going to. If you're going to say that Christian men treat women with respect, and by extension, children, you're going to have to prove it. Because that's not what I'm seeing. Our God invites us to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. That's not what men in Christianity are doing. Okay, this is a Southern Baptist Convention, a statement on the release of a list of alleged abusers. Alleged. Many of these abusers were convicted. They were not alleged. They were convicted. Okay. 2009, Ralph Lee Aaron, 54, pastor of Grace Christian Fellowship and former pastor of Victory Baptist Church, agreed to consecutive life terms in prison for production of CP and first degree, you can read that, of multiple 8 to 12-year-old males. He is a registered S offender. That's just one case. And this one, I don't know why his name was redacted. A youth minister was charged with 2 counts of third-degree criminal S conduct with a minor and 3 counts of second-degree assault and battery. Why redact the name of that scumbag? Everyone should know who that is for their safety. Now, in some of these, you will see multiple offenders out of one church. This right here. If so many churches are so good, why do so many of them have SAM insurance? Do you know what that is? Y'all, do you know what that is? Abuse is so prevalent in churches that they have insurance for it. That does not speak of women being held in high regard, or children, or elderly people, or people who are LGBTQ plus, or people with disabilities. Because in that list, this list right here, a lot of the people are LGBTQ plus, handicapped or disabled. Women, lots of DV, lots of R, marital or otherwise, lots of children being harmed, lots of men being harmed too. Yeah. Men are harmed by patriarchy as well. Okay, so that's just the US side of things, okay? And I could go way deeper with that, but I'm just not going to. I could, and I might. But I just want to show it's not just the US. I don't want to give anyone the ability to be like, well, that's, that doesn't mean every. Sure, Jan. Decree 770 was a Roman law signed in 1967 by a communist dictator. I do not like to say his name, and I will not, which banned most abortions and restricted contraception. The decree aimed to increase Romanians' population and was a key part of that regime's policies. The decree outlawed abortion for the vast majority of women. Contraceptive restrictions. It also imposed restrictions on the availability and use of contraception. They wanted to drive up the population growth in Romania, and boy, howdy, did they. Now this, that's just one other example besides the US. When things get more conservative, women are treated like garbage. When things get more conservative, women are denied full access to medical care for reproductive things. Women are denied access to contraceptives. Romania, Decree 770. World War II, Germany, and I do believe Italy, and possibly Spain. When the conservative BS started to amp up, women were told, you will be in the kitchen, you will be making us babies, as many as you can pump out as possible for the fatherland, for the war effort. You make those babies and you raise them to be fighters and cannon fodder. That's reality of conservatism. In the conservative world, you're supposed to fit into a mold, a box, and that box is pre-made for you at birth. Whether or not you can fit into that box is immaterial. It doesn't matter if you're happy or not. And I'll do you one further. Hold on one sec. I can X off these tabs. Yay, I can X off tabs. Y'all, I count this as a win. One second. How are y'all doing today? How's everybody feeling? While I'm looking someone up or something up. World War II, Germany banned abortions for Aryan women unless there was some kind of abnormality. But all it required non-Aryan women. Yeah. Well, I mean, they wanted to unalive non-Aryan women, so, you know. Okay. I don't know what all is going to come up with this. I just had the idea to look and see. So on cults of consciousness, or I can't remember. I'll look it up in a minute. Give me 1 second, everybody. Okay. If so many women are treated so good in Christianity, why is this happening? Why are ex-trad wives speaking out now in droves because they see that Christian extremists, white nationalists in the US are trying to take over the US, and you're like, I don't want to go back into that. Because they're hoodwinked into a situation that they don't really understand what they're getting into. A lot of the time, they're too young to understand, because in those families, they try to get their daughters married off as soon as possible so that they don't even realize they can think for themselves and they can have their own free will and they can live their own lives happily without being controlled and subjugated under a man's boot. Marry them off as quickly as possible. And then once they realize it, and I know this because I've had clients who were married in their teens. And when I met them, they were in their, a lot of the time, mid to late 20s, finally realizing they didn't want any of that shit. And they were tired of being abused. They didn't even know to call it abuse. Trad wife speaks out. Women are left broke. I'm sure there's way more to that. Hold on 1 second. Let me. Broke, single, and homeless. That really sounds like they hold women up and treat them with all due respect, doesn't it? Trad wife tragedy, facade of ballerina farm. Well, isn't that interesting? Trad wives, a business of being a traditional wife influencer. I like her her videos, very interesting. I was hoping that was it Coast to Consciousness? Is that the one I'm thinking of? The disturbing reality behind the trad wife movement. More and more trad wives are coming out and they are saying no. That they don't want to have anything to do with being part of that. I'm looking for, there's one lady who has a book that came out that's really good. Monty Matter, if you're not subscribed to her and watching her videos, oh my God, what is wrong with you? I have a huge, gigantic crush on her. Her brain is amazing. T11's, this one right here, this video right here, refutes everything that commenter said to me in that comment. And she's not the only one who has come out and said, this is ridiculous. Did you know that according to certain branches of Christianity, it's okay for a man to spank his wife, to correct her and punish her without her consent. Like that scene in Handmaid's Tale. Baby, I love you, but if you ever grab me and try to correct me or punish me by spanking me, we're going to have a problem. I love you. But
I don't know why you would ever think that I would do something like that.
I'm just saying that right now, right here, right now. No spanking.
I don't think it needs to be said.
Okay, good. I would, listen, I would toss somebody out of a 10-story window for trying to spank my ass. That would not be cool. But that's, in Christianity, keep sweet, be nice, be quiet, be small. Have that little baby woman voice that I do not understand, and do as you're told, or you'll get spanked or beaten or ard. So if you're going to come here and put comments like that on one of my videos, understand that I will fucking blast you full on publicly. And I will show you how you are wrong. And you are wrong, and I know that for a fact, because I have had to take clients to the hospital to have reconstructive surgery in places you don't even want to think about, because their godly husband took it upon themselves to do horrific things to them. So you can take your opinion of Christian men and you can shove it directly where the sun does not shine. Are there branches of Christianity that are nice and kind and good to people? Yes, there are. Yeah, there are. But as a whole, FLDS, LDS, Mormons, any of the churches that call themselves the family, because there are a bunch of them, okay? Catholicism. And there are different branches of that. So, so many different branches of Christianity abuse women, children, LGBTQ plus people, people of color, people who are disabled or handicapped, unhoused people. Why aren't all of these huge mega churches opening their doors to all the people who are unhoused? Come on in. We will get you housed, fed, clothed, get you everything that you need to get your life set back up, because that's what Jesus told y'all to do, but your churches are not doing it. Instead, your pastors are living in a mansion, flying on private jets. They got yachts that can put another yacht in them, taking lavish trips to Timbuktu or wherever they F, living the high life off of your tithes. But where are they actually helping people for real? Some of these mega churches, like the one in Texas that refused to open its doors when there was a massive flood, that church right there could have housed everyone that was dealing with the flooding. But they didn't want to get their rugs dirty. Rugs were more important than human beings. That is not the path of Jesus Christ. If he existed, he preached that you would help people, be loving to your neighbor, care about the people around you, take care of people. That's not what evangelical Christianity does at all. In fact, it will purposefully make families more poor because they have to pay those tithes, right? Because that pastor needs that money, right? He needs that nice new Armani suit, right? And those nice shoes, right? He needs to be driving a Lexus or whatever, right? I've literally seen pastors be like, I need a new car. What the fuck? So miss me with the whole conservative men treat women with respect and all that bullshit, because no, they don't. Not in the evangelical worlds. What was that dude's name? Gothard? I can go down a long list. You were spanked when you were young, hated it because it often applied. It was often applied at the smallest slight. My feelings on getting spanked are different now. Well, you're grown up now. But it's a proven fact, scientific fact, that spanking a child it's not good for their brain development. It's not good for anything. Joel is a scumbag. Yes. But I mean, many of those evangelical pastors are, they got all kind of skeletons in the closet. How many of them have been caught with mistresses, sizzes, or misters, right? Or they're preaching, don't, abortion is evil, but meanwhile they have a mistress and they've paid for her to have abortions, or just, are the one who was having like, him and his wife were having threesomes with their boyfriend or whatever, like, who was a young guy that they groomed. At some point, you have to pull the wool off your eyes, rip the wool off your eyes, and see reality for what it is. And right now, woman, to the person who made that comment, all of your rights are being stripped away if you're in the U.S. All of your rights. Go, hold on. I was going to tell you go read something, but it's fine. We can just pull it up. Project 2025. A political initiative published in April 2023 by the Heritage Foundation to reshape the federal government of the United States and consolidate executive power in favor of right-wing policies. But that's not telling you what those right-wing policies are, many of them. I could go... Yeah, the Republicans are looking at removing the Equal Opportunity Credit Act. Yeah, well, there's a lot more than that. A whole lot more. And I've been trying to warn people about this for years. And I was like, oh, it's just you're a conspiracy theorist, you're tinfoil hat wearing, whatever. Here we are, though. Okay. Project 2025, the right-wing wish list for Trump's second term. We're in his second term now. This was published in 2024. During his campaign, Trump repeatedly disavowed Project 2025 after a backlash over some of its more radical ideas. And then he nominated several of its authors to fill key government positions, and many of his initial executive orders closely follow proposals outlined in the document. Okay. So the Heritage Foundation was funded for this project by Scientology and a whole bunch of Christian religious groups. Christian religious groups and Scientology. Hold on one sec. Russell Vought, that's a Christian guy. He's a Christian nationalist. If you don't know who that dude is, you should. Chief Architect of Project 2025. He hates everyone who's not like him. Period, point blank. So one thing to understand with Project 2025, there's a second part to it, and that is called Project Esther. And here's what both of them are going to do. Here's just a brief synopsis. I'm not going to dig through here to find it because I've already read both of those documents. They're going to take all rights away from women. all rights, everything. So your right to medical health care for reproductive organs. Bye. Your right to own property, own a house, or get a mortgage or rent an apartment without a man co-signing. Your right to a bank account, credit cards, vote, move about freely, travel from one state to another, travel from one country to another. All of your rights gone. Think Sharia law, only Christian. There's a thing that Christians do a lot. The right-wing evangelical side I'm talking about. Here's the thing. There's a difference. There are two different groups of Christianity. There's the psycho ones, and then there are ones that don't really go to church, and they're really good people. Or if they go to a church, it's usually small, and it's obvious that they're doing that work. I'm talking about the psycho evangelical side, just to be clear. So in Project 2025 and Project Esther, in order to force women back into the kitchen, okay, and being broodmares, and by women I mean white women, to force that to happen, they're going to take all your rights away. So you have to have a man to guide you. You have to have a man in charge of your money and everything else. If you own a house right now, I don't know what's going to happen. I hope you have a man in your life you trust, and who is trustworthy for real. Because back in the day, when women didn't have any rights, you could be committed because you made that man angry. And you could be lobotomized, electroshock, torture. It's not therapy. It's torture, okay? Just all kinds of torture for women who would not submit to men who are abusive. That's what you're looking at going back to. Do tell me, again, how much Christian men lift up women. Please. Go ahead. Because I would say, if it's an evangelical household, that's rare. That would be very rare. Now, if you are in an evangelical household and maybe you don't want to be anymore, baby, now is the time to leave. Now is the time to get out. I would suggest now, while you can, there are people out there who are helping people get out actively for this reason, because of what the federal government's doing right now. Because here soon, you may not have a choice in the matter. And that's not a joke. I literally don't help people get out of DV situationships anymore because I don't know what the laws are anymore in the US. I don't know what resources there are. Like, state by state, things are getting really, really hairy. Yeah, that's a good one too. There are psycho evangelicals at the smaller churches. So yeah, there are. Yeah. But there are also some churches out there, little tiny, churches with people who are just trying to do good works, right? There was one church in New Orleans. That's one I brought supplies into just after Hurricane Katrina. And the pastor was out there, cleaning out his church and getting it ready. And I mean, he worked hard, dude. And he had his church set up so that, anyone who was flooded out of their house or whatever could come to his church instead of going to the convention center, all that. So they'd be safe there with him. He didn't have to do that. He could have just left out. When I got to New Orleans, it was nighttime. There were no lights. There was no power to New Orleans. And he was out there at night because it was the coolest part of the day, right? He was out there at night clearing everything out of the church by himself. That's a real pastor. And he had that reputation of being there for people and doing good by people. But that's a rarity now. It seems like the Bible tells you to beware false prophets, beware wolves in sheep's clothing, right? I think it's safe to say that evangelicalism and all of the stricter forms of Christianity have been usurped and taken over. And right now, white nationalists are using it as a way to subjugate everyone they don't like. Let me close this door real quick, y'all. Right now, especially in the South, they are finding, especially young Black men, lynched. And it kind of looks like some of the police forces involved in the investigation aren't even investigating. They're getting there. They're seeing someone was hanging from a tree or a bridge. And they're like, suicide. Really? Where was the investigation, though? Oh, we're not even going to do investigations for things like that anymore? Evangelicalism has merged in with the GOP and is shredding the Constitution of the United States right now, completely destroying it. So Don Lemon, Joy Reid, Jimmy Kimmel, Colbert have all lost their shows because the orange ass muncher didn't like what they had to say about him. His fifis got hurt. Oh my God. He's a little titty baby. He needs a nook. And his blinky. The fuck? Freedom of speech is supposed to protect you from the government stopping your speech. Except now, all over the internet, good luck finding a place where you can speak freely without being censored to filth or having your life threatened and it be ignored. No religion, personally, I think that no religion should be involved in legislation because your book of mythology has nothing to do with people who don't even follow your book of mythology. Keep it to your fucking self, is what I'm saying. Listen, if your religion gives you happiness and joy and brings you fulfillment and gives you community and all of those things, great. That is awesome. If that makes you feel good, that's great. Good for you. The whole point is it's yours. Keep it to yourself. Not everyone wants it. I don't want to be part of your book club. I'm not interested in being part of your book club. Pretty sure Phoenix is not interested either. Are you interested, Phoenix, in being part of that book club? Is anyone watching this interested in being part of that book club? Yes or no? Right on. No, I'm not either. I simply refuse to be in a religion where I am told that I cannot be a free and full human being. Hey, kitty, how you doing? What's up? Only very sometimes. No thanks. Right, right, right. Okay, so all of this to show that that person's comment was not the comment, right? It's not reality. In reality, hold on. Is it not going to share? Where did it go? Ah, and now I can't find it. Hold on. Go back over here. do, 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 do. I had it all set up and then it disappeared on me. You can believe whatever you believe. That's fine. Your beliefs are your beliefs. But your beliefs are not always correct. And when actual reality is telling you that you are wrong, that's not reality. At some point, you have to face it. Conservative men, historically speaking and currently in the US, do not treat women like human beings. They don't treat little girls like human beings, teenage girls. You're okay. Right, right. I'm glad to hear that. Religion is like someone's bits. It's okay to have, it's okay not to have, but what's not okay, you share it without consent. Exactly. That right there. I'm just gonna leave that there. So, when you come into the space of someone who does not believe in your religion, you're not going to change their minds, shake the dust off your sandals and walk on. Or we could have a conversation about it and be respectful of each other. See, what's going on in the US right now is not respectful. Effectively, the Trump administration is telling people you will be this way whether you want to or not. To that I say, you. So hard. I refuse. I refuse to be part of a religion that literally had a Bible that was made specifically for enslaved people of African descent, and it's called the Slave's Bible. I refuse. I refuse to be a member of a religion that has historically tortured indigenous people, including their children. Absolutely. Nope. Miss me with all of that. Christianity is hemorrhaging numbers, by the way. And in droves, it's women leaving. Stats are shocking. Women are noping right the fuck out. Yeah. Y'all know what I mean? It's a lot. I see more videos doing interviews, tribe wives, and they escaped out. If it was so good, why would they pay? Then you have the children who come out and they're like, I don't ever want to have children. Conservatism leads to suffering, and suffering is the point, especially in Christianity. At this point, most of Christianity has been turned into a death cult. It's not all Christianity, but it's most. You know Christians who are what I would consider real Christians. Um, but man, the US is dying. It's gonna get real bad in the US unless the entire population of the US says no and shuts all that shit down. Yeah, I was tortured mercilessly. The least harmful one, or the one that left the least physical pain, were the constant buzz cuts at the age through each grade. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. One of my clients, I know she wouldn't mind me saying this. Her ex tried to buzz cut her hair because he was angry at her, and in the church they were in, if he had done that, like, she would have had other repercussions. And as he was going to get the clippers, he was angry that she couldn't have, wasn't getting pregnant, right? Thankfully, she dodged a bullet, right? But while he went to get the clippers, she jumped out a window. She's a badass. That shit is just a she's still one of my favorite human beings. She was like, "Yeah, fuck you. I'm not doing this." He was gonna buzz cut her hair because she couldn't get pregnant. That's a conservative move for you. Fundamentally, it's anti-constitutional, the conflation of church and state. Where I could read this better if I had my glasses on, y'all. And the conflation of church and state is not only dishonest and irresponsible, but disregarding of the standards we have forged as a society through the centuries. Yeah, okay, so yeah, dude, you're stamping and trampling all over case law. Okay, like I have a degree in criminal justice, but I don't know if it's worth a goddamn at this point. I have a degree. What am I in debt to the heavens and back for at this point? What is the law anymore? I'm an ex-sheriff's deputy and a victims advocate, and I'm like, what in the fuck is the law even at all anymore in the US? You know? Being told I needed a haircut after just a month since the last one, that was awful. Since then, I had 3 haircuts in the past 8 years. Right. See, I don't agree with that. I agree with children making up their own minds, really, about things like that. Even a child, they're still living in their own body, and they're not actually our property. They're ours until they are adults. And when they're adults, boy howdy, are they gonna remember the bad treatment. They're gonna remember. And then they're probably gonna say, "You wanted to be an asshole, now you can be an asshole alone." I mean, the more I'm watching, what was her name? Maddie, the one that I said that if you're not subscribed to her channel, why? What's wrong with you? So she's so amazing. Apparently, she's gonna write a book, hopefully soon too, which I want to read. Um, but she was talking about just so many things. Let me see, where's the history thing here? So I can go look at the video of hers and just wow. I don't see it. not able to see it from here, but, that Maddie, she is so aggressive. I mean, smart, just and when she gets into all of the different aspects of abuse that came up and how it was written into Christianity at this point, there's a lot of things that are in Christianity, in evangelical Christianity right now that were only introduced in, like, the '60s, '70s, '80s, and are not actually Christian, but it's weird. I knew I was queer from an early age, being in a household where I felt unwanted, it's unimaginable. Yes, I am so I guess we are in unprecedented times as ever, but let's not pretend it ain't relative. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a big deal because if the US falls, um, that's gonna be bad. Yep. Because the US keeps certain countries in check. And without the US there doing that, Russia, it's just gonna be bad. I don't know who would keep Russia in check. The Cold War, there's a common misconception that the Cold War ended. Okay. It paused. It paused for a while, and then it started right back up, and that's what's been happening on the internet. All these incel, red pill, manosphere groups, um, many of them were instigated and perpetuated by foreign assets into the American sphere. But it's not just America; it's all over the world. Because dominionists think that they are supposed to have dominion over the entirety of the world. And that's why right now they're trying to bring about Armageddon. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. But there's a caveat. Quite often, toxic groups of people in particular, okay? When toxic groups of people start getting together, typically they will work well together at first, okay? But then after a while, they're going to start butting heads, especially if they're from different groups, like, say, the Southern Baptist Convention and the Catholics, and then the Mormons, and then, all these different groups, right? They all want to be the main, like, seller of this religion. So they're not gonna want to be on friendly terms for very long, and what I think fucking hilarious is Scientology. Scientology was helping with this too, with the Heritage Foundation and all that shit, right? I think they think that they'll be able to take Clearwater and LA as their, like, religious dominion, but they're not going to be. They're gonna be wiped the F out if these psycho evangelicals are able to take over. Scientology will not last. It will not survive because Scientology is heretical. They, took the sign of the crucifix, the cross, and they bastardized it. They did not do research as per usual. It's all written in Dominionist documents online, by the way. 2016 presidential election, there was Russian interference. Yes, yeah, mhm, thank you, right there. They've been doing all kind of shit, though, and Trump has ties with come on, people. This whole thing was set up by foreign assets, and the GOP is too scared and too spineless, too mealy-mouthed to actually step up and stop this shit. And on top of that, the Supreme Court, which is going right along with all this BS because they've been bought like I can't say that. They seem to think they'll be fine, especially Clarence Thomas. Does anyone wanna tell him? Anyone? You know, the black shirts and the brown shirts. That right there. Thank you. Yep. When reality hits evangelicals, it's gonna suck because yet again, this, most recent, uh, memorial they just had, right? Wanna know what happened? Grindr crashed again. So, you do away with Grindr and all of the porn that all these guys like, and you do away with, um, easy access on the internet to porn, and escorts and all of that. When you do away with all of that and all the video games and the movies and the TVs and the books and the stuff, these guys are gonna lose their fucking minds. And they realize they will have consequences. And when all the women who prop up the patriarchy realize they're stuck and there is no getting out. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I've heard about the cult of Scientology, hard to say. Perhaps both being an skeptic, right? I mean, I don't give a shit about Scientology. Scientology can burn to the ground. Yes, I said what I said, and no, I don't feel bad about it, and you can call me a bigot all you want to. I have never harbored a serial killer, and I've never caused a woman to, die because of severe neglect, along with harming children, women, elderly people, and everything else. Scientific people got all the way off. That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm wondering, so far as the audio bandwidth, it's almost 10:30 at night, so everyone's home from work, so it might be more difficult, but alright, so I'm gonna start live streaming during the day also because it's really hard on me live streaming at 10:30 at night. I should be in bed right now. It's not too bad. Right, right. Well, I'm kind of a perfectionist. I like it when the audio and the video is good, you know what I mean? If y'all are gonna spend your time here, then I want you to have a pleasant experience. Um, that's just more daytime streams. Yeah, yeah. Like, what, tomorrow's Tuesday. I have to set up a doctor's appointment tomorrow, and I can't oh, no, that's Wednesday. Okay, so, yeah, tomorrow I might, stream during the day. It's too hard on me staying up this late. Late. What am I, 90? I don't know. But I know that people in the US, I don't know what time it is in the US right now. Anyone who's in the US, what time is it there? I keep 3 p.m. where you are. Right. So, geez, during the day here. My God. Yes, see, I don't do military time, babe. Through military time with me, and I'm just like, "Huh?" Like, I just have a block on it, which really did not come in handy when I worked in the sheriff's department. I'm just gonna say that. It's got me in trouble a few times. I had a watch that had alarms for me. 5:30. Okay, right. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting trying to figure out the whole time thing. But we love our replay crew very much. So any of you who are on the replay crew, hi. I hope you had a good day. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope you're doing all right. I know things are tough right now, especially here in the US. It's stunning to me how many of my friends have left the US or are trying to figure that out and just leave. Um, it's really something, man. I can tell you that Scotland is gorgeous. Well, that's not very nice. What's all that about? You wanna call me Cruella de Vil. Careful what you wish for. What is your, problem with what I have said? 'Cause I said a lot in this live stream, so you're gonna have to narrow it down. Don't wanna hear my BS, but you definitely want my attention, huh? You don't know about Brian. And I find that funny. So here's the thing, just 'cause you don't agree with what someone is saying does not mean that you have to be vile and verbally abusive and pathetic. Be specific, but only very sometimes there. Be specific, huh? Señalado, have a point at least. I mean, I'm just saying. Thanks for the engagement. Villains tend to go down, and she isn't a villain, unlike some others. Yeah, right. Like red lipstick guy, that's the reason I'm wearing the red lipstick today. He was denied release, by the way. Red lipstick guy, another conservative man who couldn't keep his fucking mouth shut and follow the rules, placed by the judge. You know, be a douche canoe. Oh, Donna. BS. Where's the BS? Cite your sources, Donna. Where was I wrong? Cite your sources. Come on. If you can't, just go with feces. See, these keyboard warriors try so hard and fail miserably every fucking cope, Donna. Just cope, okay? Um, okay, so for the foreseeable future, I'm going to be going through the stages So grief again. And I'm actively looking into I'm actively looking into starting a foundation to start the sanctuary that I wanted to do. Um, this is going to be really interesting because I don't know how to do that. I've worked for foundations and like volunteered and helped and stuff, but I've never like, started one. So it's so weird. I can start doing that. How come the villains have the coolest names? Because the villains are not. The villains are not always villains. Like Maleficent, was she a villain? I don't know. I don't know. Don't know where'd you go. You're awfully quiet. What is- I can't go look at your profile yet, but I will later. Donna, let me guess. There's nothing on your channel. No videos or anything. Does somebody else want to look? Donna, you were so bold. What's the matter? Are you butthurt? Uh, well, by the way, I'm getting better with knitting. I think I have this slow drop stick going on. So I say that, and I don't actually like drop like something. Actually, probably make this into something. Yeah, it's looking pretty. I was trying to learn how to purl, and I think I almost sprained all of my fingers. So, figure I'll just stick with the knit stitch or whatever you call it for right now, and pick up purl later when I have like more yarn and drive myself nuts with it. But okay, y'all, I'm gonna jump off. I'm going to get ready for bed. Tomorrow we will be back at it, and we will talk. You loom knit. Now I'm curious. What is I want looms, all of the thread arts. Let me do all of the thread arts, all of them. Um, so yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna try to stream throughout the day, and the stages are really something. Like right now, I can feel myself going into the denial part again. This can't really be happening. She can't. So you have the right to say no, to be respected, and no religion. No religion should be in charge of a country. There should be a separation of church and state and human rights for all. It's a different kind of knit. I'll have to look into it. I don't think I've heard of Loom before, but I'll look into it. All right, I love you, and I will see y'all later. Okay, meeting up with you guys tomorrow. Maybe I'll just constantly. Right, Donna? Bye, y'all. Secular humanism. Yes, exactly. All right. Sleep good, y'all, or have a good rest of your day.